stand for fantasy football franchise. Talking about that guy, Hoogie Tyler every week. Heavy analytics, competition real steep. Whoa, that's sweet. Oh, in this belief. Nick so sick, man, bringing ships the whole fleet. Goats, not sheep. Follow every tweet. Don't sleep, always finding sleepers on the street, boy. F3, winning every single league. Money back guaranteed, but it's free. Welcome to the franchise. Welcome to the franchise. Let's go.
All right, welcome back to the F3 podcast. My name is Sean. I am at Laney1925 on Twitter. I'm here with my co-host Joey.
What's up, dude? Joey the Tooth IDP.
And I'm here with Andrew.
Hey, what's up? At Dubs Fans 02, we are Legion.
Oh boy, how'd your fantasy weeks go this week, guys?
Very good. I won almost all my leagues. I was pretty pumped about that. I had a kind of a shaky start this season.
Yeah, I won 9 out of 11 this week. I almost lost in our Dynasty Football Digest IDP guys combo league, but ended up pulling that one off. It was a little closer than I wanted it to be, though.
Yeah.
Did you say 1 of 11 or 9 of 11?
9 of 11. I won 9 of 11.
That's a rough week.
I won 1 out of my 11 leagues. Feel really good
I
about
feel
that.
good about it. Yeah, it was great. I was close.
Yeah, felt really good.
Take all the advice from the guy that goes 1 and 11. All the advice.
Our start sit on Sunday morning went really well too. So yeah, this was definitely my best week of the year so far. It felt really good. So we got a lot to talk about. A lot of stuff going on in the NFL this week, and all of it is Dynasty relevant. Do we want to start with the big one, Saquon Barkley going down?
Yeah, sure. Was it 4 to 8 weeks?
Yeah, but like, I think it's probably going to be closer to the 8 weeks.
Yeah.
You want to protect your investment. I don't know that the
Of
team.
course.
Like, we'll get to Daniel Jones in a little bit here, but if he's
Use his
playing
real
well,
name.
I'm not doing that.
Do it.
If he's playing well and they're like competing this year, they might bring him back early. But I think that if they're just kind of an average team that they don't think is capable of making a playoff run, they're going to hold him out as long as possible.
There's no need to rush him back with Danny
No.
Dimes holding it down. And what do you
Rushing
mean?
the ball like he
if
is.
They make the
Oh, you're
playoffs?
going the opposite route. You think they're just going to be able to run the table without him?
Oh my goodness! Don't you dare doubt Danny Dimes.
Danny
I'll
Dimes
give it
is
to
running
him.
around like this. He's like,
No one knows what you're doing, and it just sounds weird. Stop doing that.
oh yeah, that's right. It's not video.
So yeah, I don't know. I was not a Daniel Jones believer. He looked good in preseason. Still wasn't buying it. He looked good this week. I don't want to buy it. I might be wrong though. And
His only problem is his pocket presence. Like he's always looking downfield, which is great, but sometimes it forces him to take a sack.
Yeah, his pocket presence is atrocious, and that was
But-
always something that concerned me. It was just that if you don't do well with pressure in college and stuff, you get pressured a lot more in the NFL. And
Right.
I don't know. So far, it's been okay for him. So I guess we'll see if that continues. I don't know. It's certainly better than Eli Manning, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Do
know,
you need pocket presence when you're the number 2 spark athlete in your class?
Yes.
yes. So this is definitely a stock bump for the wide receivers over there, right?
yeah.
Like all of this. Barkley being gone probably is too.
Shepard looked good.
Which like beyond Shepard, who?
I mean, Golden Tate will be back soon.
Yeah.
He's got one more game to sit out, and then he's back.
I still think they're gonna force feeding him.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
it's great
still-
for
he's
Ingram
still-
too. But
Yeah, he played really good.
do we really
Darius Slayton had a pretty decent game too.
Yeah, and it's good to see him back because he was a promising one at the beginning of the year where it looked
Yeah.
like he was going to have that starting slot role and then or third wide receiver role, and then the injury kind of derailed that. And I don't know, it's good to see him back and playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, so Wayne Gallman's the handcuff over there. Now the starting running back. Obviously a valuable handcuff and a valuable add right now if he's not added in your leagues, which he may not be in a lot of deep leagues, but or in a lot of not deep leagues. But like I don't think he's going to be the focal point of the offense, so I think it's going to increase passing volume, especially if Daniel Jones is playing even like decent.
Yeah.
This is his real name.
So
Do it once.
So realistically, like Evan Ingram is not going to be the only one getting targets over there because they're going to have to increase volume. And their defense isn't good, so they're probably going to be playing in a lot of high-scoring games. They're going to be playing from behind. Like, I don't know. I think that offense, if Daniel Jones is competent, can support more than just Evan Ingram and Sterling Shepard.
I agree.
Are you buying Danny Dimes? Was this a 1 week wonder, or is he gonna?
I mean, you're not buying him now. Like, you're not buying him after the week he just had.
I don't mean like I think he's probably on the waivers on
Are you buying into his talent?
In Dynasty? No, he's not. He's not sitting on anybody's waivers. I promise.
I don't know, man. Okay. I feel like there's
a lot of hatred for Danny Dimes before this week.
I don't feel like there's a lot of like non-starting quarterbacks on rosters, are there?
I mean, rookie quarterbacks that go in the first round.
Yeah,
I mean, because like I tried to add him to hedge my bets, and he was taken in every single league in the actual rookie draft. It wasn't even in the after the fact ad. So, Barkley out though. That's pretty devastating. Any team that has Barkley probably doesn't have a lot of replacements for him at this point. So, just kind of hang tough there and hope you can struggle your way through to the playoffs. Do we want to talk Gardner Minshew? Mustache mania?
Loving the stash.
Mustache mania, my dude. Yeah.
Sean, why don't you have a mustache?
I think you should grow one.
You think so?
I do.
Should we do that for the next pod?
I think you should grow one.
I have to go out
and that's all right. You should wear the shirt that you're getting with it.
Yeah. I bought this shirt that it's just got Gardner Minshew staring off into the distance and just says, "I need a hero" under it.
That's so good.
I'm super excited for it.
My favorite meme was when Gardner went off to college. He told his father, "You're the man of the house now."
That's so good.
He's such an awkward prick.
Yeah.
Have you seen his dad though? His dad's a tank.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm loving it. I just hope that he stays good so that we can continue to get all of this nonsense. I'm here for it. So
and since he's been in DJ Shark, his value's just gone whoop through the roof.
Minshew's played really well. His back shoulder throws have been really good.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a whole lot of arm talent, but he's been pretty accurate. They are playing very conservatively with him, like almost to the point of Mitch Trubisky level conservative, maybe even more so. But he's doing good things with it. So I don't know. That offense looks somewhat competent with him at the helm. So.
Who do you want for pass catchers in Jacksonville with him starting now?
I mean, Chark is the one that is really cleaning up over there. I've never been a believer in Chark. I might have to take the L on that one at this point because I was a big D.D. Westbrook fan, and he's dropping passes.
He is dropping a lot, but I still think D.D.'s volume will still be all right. After last season, I don't see him he doesn't have a problem with drops. It's just something that's going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, he had some drop issues in college, but like he always made up for it with separation. Kind of in the way that Amari Cooper did, but to a lesser extent. And he was good after the catch and stuff. So I don't know. I still really like D.D. Westbrook. I just don't know if the Jaguars like D.D. Westbrook at this point. Right. That's really more important.
Is Marquise Lee a drop?
Yeah, I've never been in on Marquise Lee.
Really?
Yeah, just not a fan. I don't know. Who do you want to talk about next, Joey?
We'll go with Mike Evans. With 3 touchdowns and 190 yards. What that does for Chris Godwin's value.
And how amazing was it that he set up that late field goal for the win?
Bruce Arians with a great idea. Here, let's take a delay game. He's better long.
He's better from long distance.
Way to go, Bruce. That's a good coaching decision.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think this week for Mike Evans does much to hurt Godwin's value so much as it does revive Mike Evans' value since people were starting to doubt him.
Does it bring Chris Godwin's hype back down to a realistic level, though? To where there's people saying that he's going to outproduce Mike Evans.
And he might. I mean, I guess
So
we'll
I think
see. I think that realistically, Mike Evans is the, like, if you had to pick one, Mike Evans is the one to own there. And, like, it's not particularly close for me.
Right.
But, like, I could see a situation in which Godwin outproduces him. And I've always been in on Godwin. He was one of my draft crushes coming out of Penn State, but watched a ton of him watching Barkley. But I don't think he's not the same level of talent that Mike Evans is.
Right.
And I think that Godwin's a really good player, but he's not Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is super talented.
Agreed, 100%.
So yeah, I don't think this should really change their values at all. It might bring the hype down on Godwin, but like the hype was superseding his value at this point. You know?
Did you watch any of that game?
The last one, no.
Did you? So like, I didn't watch it, but I was watching the box score. I was flipping channels a little bit, and I want to say Godwin got his first target in like the third, if not fourth quarter.
Yeah, James
Does that not
Winston
make you
was
nervous?
peppering Mike Evans with targets that entire game. There
Right.
wasn't really anybody else even. And they tried to get O.J. Howard a little more incorporated in the offense. I think after the first few weeks
Like
of just
3
nothing.
catches. Yeah, I think the big thing is that if defenses are going to let you have Mike Evans, they're going to get the ball to Mike Evans.
Right.
If they're going to decide to try and take away Mike Evans, then they're going to hit Godwin. Where I think this week they just didn't try and take away Mike Evans the way that they should. So he's ends up with a monster game, and I think that's what you expect out of him in those situations. Yeah. So he may not have the every week like crazy volume that he used to have before the emergence of Godwin, but I think that he's going to have monster weeks like this, and in the meantime, he'll at least be productive.
Yeah.
So, Andrew, you got someone you want to talk about?
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
He's looking like a monster out there right
now.
And so like, do you think that is the same scenario that you talked about in Tampa, where they left him available, and so Goff's just going to go to him all day? Because like, it was high percentage throws that he was making to him. Like he was he caught 11 of 12 targets. Like, yeah. I mean, he wasn't throwing, difficult throws to him. He's just wide open, right?
That's just a separation. His route running is great, and his hands are freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, that's true. Although he did the one incompletion was a straight drop. He was again wide open, and he legit dropped. Like, that's not a ball that he drops, and he just dropped it.
Right.
I mean, everybody drops passes. It happens, but Brandon Cooks still had a nice game over there. I think you're not going to expect this type of production out of their wide receivers every single week, because I think some games they're going to have to lean on the run more. They're going to try and lean on the run more. But, yeah, I think Robert Woods is the one to fade here, and I think it's too late to fade him, because I think most people who are super in on Robert Woods are not as in on him anymore.
Right.
So,
yeah, Cup's definitely the red zone guy.
Yeah.
100%.
Brandon Cooks is the deep threat. So,
right.
Yeah, they didn't run the ball as much as they usually do this week, so you're going to see higher volume to the wide receivers, and stuff like that's going to happen. So. All right, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back to talk more week 3. All right, we are back to listen to Andrew's child scream desperately in the distance and talk Cam Newton and Kyle Allen.
Is that picking up?
Yeah, it's picking up.
A little bit.
We're getting it.
It's better than the helicopter, right?
Yeah, better than the helicopter. So, what do you guys make of the Kyle Allen Cam Newton situation? Cam Newton may have Lisfranc, which is obviously never a good sign.
Yeah.
We thinking this is potentially a change of the guard? It seems kind of ridiculous, but what do you think?
Do you think that the Lisfranc is even the reason?
I mean, he hasn't looked good all year. That's true.
The shoulder was bad. I think he came back too early from that. Then he just, I don't know. He hasn't looked good since his MVP year, really.
Did Kyle Allen just like legitimately earn the job by playing better than him?
I think he might have.
Not in one game, I don't think. I think you gotta like we're gonna get a couple of games out of him before we can really make a decision, and we're gonna get that opportunity to watch with Cam Newton sitting out for a little bit.
I guess the Arizona defense isn't really the meter to gauge yourself against either. So
Right.
No,
like they got to play like a legit defense, but he genuinely looked like a much better quarterback.
He looked comfortable.
and I mean, part of it too is that you don't have tape on the new quarterback and what kind of plays you're going to try, because they always simplify the plays for the younger quarterbacks and change the playbook up a little bit, so you're not getting the same look at the offense beforehand. So we'll see how he does in week 2, but I mean, I think if he keeps playing well until Cam Newton comes back, which he won't if it's Lisfranc, but if it's something else and he comes back, I think you'd be hard pressed to bench a producing quarterback for a non-producing one with a franchise that's trying to win games.
Yeah, they said they're going to continue rehabbing with Cam in hopes that they're not going to go to surgery yet, but it's still a possibility.
So, I mean, at least for now, I think this gives a bump to both Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore. They both looked really good out there.
Yeah.
And I think they're both playable finally, which they weren't the first couple of weeks.
How'd Greg Olsen end up doing this week?
That I don't know. I
was more focused on the 2 you just said.
Yeah, I will double check right now. But the other thing is McCaffrey had a really nice game too. And it's just like once you get that passing game going, you can start to open up the run, and obviously open, like if you can threaten vertically, you can open the stuff up underneath for.
Yeah, and Greg Olsen had a great game. 7 targets, 6 receptions for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, realistically, all the way around, it looked good.
Yeah, he opened up the entire passing offense, apparently.
So, just let's talk crazy, unrealistic possibilities. How good does Kyle Allen need to play for them to cut Cam Newton? I'm just looking at the cap numbers, and in 2020, there's only $2 million in dead money, and they have $19 million in cap savings if they cut him.
They won't cut him. They might trade him. But even in order for that to happen, he'd have to look really impressive, because Cam Newton would still have value as a backup quarterback. Right. And like, it's crazy to me that we're even talking about this right now. But I mean, that's the reality of how bad Cam Newton's been so far this year.
$21 million backup quarterback when you can save 19 of it back by cutting him?
I mean, you're not. What are you going to do with 19 million right now? Right now.
Me, I'd probably retire and live in a like tropical island for the rest of my. No, not me. Okay.
I guess my point is that like $19 million this year, unless you're rolling it over, doesn't do a whole lot. Realistically, what you'd be looking to do is move him before the trade deadline to a team that needs a quarterback. So if somehow the Steelers manage to stay alive, maybe you get him a 1-year gap if Mason Rudolph's not playing well. Breeze will be back by that time, hopefully, but I don't think you're flat out cutting him. You're trying to trade him to somebody that needs a quarterback.
Yeah.
No, but if they decide to go with Kyle Allen over him, like that to me, like unless you actually think Kyle Allen's the real deal, that's a pretty big indictment of Cam Newton. Is somebody going to trade for him? Like what's somebody going to give up for Cam Newton
with a bad shoulder and Lisfranc?
I mean, I don't know, but we don't know there's Lisfranc yet for sure. But yeah, I don't know what you get for him, but you get more than nothing. So I don't know. I don't think there's any way that you just cut a player of Cam Newton's caliber, especially when he's been the face of your franchise for this long. Like, that'd be enraging to fans, I think.
Yeah, I got that.
Andrew, you got someone you want to talk about?
Let's talk about Dave Montgomery.
Yeah.
The bell cow.
I don't know about bell cow. I think he had 13 carries, which is better than what he has had. But I mean, the big thing is they eliminated trash Mike Davis, and they also
pretty much Cohen.
Yeah, Cohen 4 carries, -2 yards, I think.
He's
Yeah.
got 98 yards total through 3 games, I think it is.
Yeah, I mean they've been using him mostly as a receiver, and then the week that they're actually throwing the football, they're not using him at all.
Right.
So
He just disappears.
yeah, so I don't know. Like as a Tariq Cohen owner, like Cohen might be dead in the water for the year. You might not get any useful games out of him. And if you do, there's a really good chance you're not going to be able to call when they're happening, because I don't think you're going to get a stretch of like 4 or 5 games where he's productive.
Unless Monty goes down.
Yep. If Monty goes down, it's a different story. But Montgomery's looking good. It's just more you want to see him get more volume. And I think that he probably will at this point. While we're on it, we might as well talk about Trubisky finally threw his first touchdown pass.
Which took a while to throw, but
Yeah.
I mean, so he looked decent throughout the night. He still had a lot of just little dump off passes. That first touchdown pass, like you said, he watched the guy wide open for how long?
Yeah.
But I also see then he makes that one deep throw to Taylor Gabriel. That was a beautiful throw on the run.
It was.
And
I
it's
still
like,
think Trubisky's trash, but
so you see like signs of that though, and it's like, does he just have like a confidence issue where every now and then he has a beautiful throw, but he just doesn't do it because he's afraid to? Or is he just a guy who really just every now and then has a good throw?
I think he can't read a defense is the problem. I don't
Neither
think
yeah.
can
he's...
Goff.
What?
Neither can Goff.
People say that, but Goff at least knows how to read a defense well enough within his system, whereas Trubisky, I don't think has any idea what he's doing out there. Where Goff may not be a mastermind out there. In fact, I know he's not, but
He's got a great coach to help him with it.
He's got a great coach to help him with it, and he has very simple reads to make.
Did you see that meme where it was like my favorite thing is watching the blank stare in Goff's eyes while McVay's spoon feeding him exactly what to do because he's not doing the reading. He's like what do we got, coach? And coach tells him, and he's like, okay, I got it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's still a difference there though, where like his pre-snap reads aren't there, and McVay's got to spoon feed him all that stuff, but he's making the right reads when he drops back to pass, and he's making the right decisions with who to throw the football to. Whereas Trubisky is not. He will
Right.
lock onto one receiver, and he can't figure out what to do after that. But yeah, no, this was a decent game from him. I thought. I just don't believe that that's who he is.
Do you think they'll ever attack with his legs again, like they did a little bit last year? I mean, that seemed to open up the game a little bit for him. Run a couple bootlegs.
Was that by design though, or was that so you like design runs? I don't remember the design runs.
Yeah, I guess I'm not entirely sure exactly which ones were designed and what was going on, but I don't know. He looked better. He looked bad all season. He looked okay in this game. That throw to the sideline was good, but yeah, I don't think that this is going to be sustainable. So bringing it back to David Montgomery, I think if they continue to keep Mike Davis and Tariq Cohen out of the mix, David Montgomery is going to get a good amount of play because their defense is going to keep them in games.
Right.
And their passing game is not going to be efficient.
Was this a once in a lifetime? Sorry, I'm going to go off topic again. Was this a once in a lifetime night for Taylor Gabriel, or?
I have no idea what to do with the Bears receivers, man.
Yeah.
Just avoid
Allen
them.
Robinson is at least somewhat consistent. He's the only one that is somewhat consistent, but everybody else is just kind of like everywhere.
Man, I really like Allen Robinson and Anthony Miller, and it's such a bummer that they're stuck over there with Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Anthony Miller was going to blow up this year, and I guess figuratively he is, because like in a bad way he's just imploding, right? Like it's just it's sad.
Yeah, I just wish he had a quarterback, but yeah. Joe, you got someone to talk about?
Let's see. I actually want to get on Darren Waller one more time because he has just become the absolute focal point of that offense.
Yeah.
And it's
there's nobody
fantastic to
else.
see. No. Well, I mean, Tyrell Williams looked like he was going to be possibly a number one target for the team, but Darren Waller's just size and athletic ability. He's just dominating that offense.
Yeah. No, it's been crazy. And like, I was not in on that before the year because first of all, AB obviously was there. And then
Right.
I was a big Hunter Renfro guy. I just didn't think there was going to be a lot of room for Waller to carve that out. But then AB disappears. They're hitting Hunter Renfro a couple of times a game, but he's not
Right.
nearly as big a factor as what I thought. And basically, the offense is just running through their tight end, which is
Right.
stupid, crazy. But
I mean, it's been working out pretty decent for him. The Raiders haven't looked half as bad as I expected them to look. This year, I really didn't think they were going to be good at all.
Derek Carr is still not good.
He's not terrible. All right, date back, what is it, 2 or 3 years when Derek Carr was having an MVP type season. You know he was having an MVP type season, and then he goes down with an injury.
Yep.
What happened that season?
What do you mean? What happened to it?
Like
It happened, and then he got hurt. I mean,
no, I'm
that's
saying like you said, he's not a good quarterback, but he had an MVP type season. Was he
Yeah,
not a good
and
quarterback still?
I don't know, honestly. I honestly would have to go back and rewatch that season to figure out what's going on. But it's very clear that he's not producing at the same rate, and he's making a lot
Right.
more mistakes. And they also had a champion caliber defense then too.
That's true.
Khalil Mack was a monster.
Yeah.
And so like their wins that they were getting, like a lot of the MVP hype was the fact that he wasn't making mistakes and they were winning. Games.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that plays into it a little bit.
So, I want to dig into your MVP type season analysis again. How good of a season do you think he had?
And this is the real question because
Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Don't look it up.
Well, no, I don't know exactly. I just remember, like he said, winning games and whatnot, and it seemed like it was Carr that was winning the games for him.
What do you think he did? Like 45 and 40?
Well, how many games did he end up playing?
I would
15.
guess he ended up
15?
somewhere.
I was gonna say.
He get hurt in the 13th game.
I was gonna say 3,700 yards, and then probably like a 3-to-1 touchdown ratio.
See, and that's
Okay.
those aren't championship or MVP caliber numbers. It's the wins that got him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went 12-3. He had 3,900 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 6 picks.
Right.
See, that's pretty good though.
That's not great for yardage.
What was Cam's
or
numbers when
touchdowns.
Cam won MVP?
He put about 1,000 down on the ground though. Like that's where the difference is.
Yeah.
Cam was out there putting up 1,000 yards on the ground, and Derek Carr was out there getting his leg broken when he took to the ground. So
Oh,
That was
he did.
that was
too.
the only sack his left tackle allowed all season. And
Yeah,
he
broke his leg.
fibula.
It's
brutal.
rough.
All right. Let's see, Andrew, you got someone to talk about?
Scary Terry.
Yeah, still looking sharp out there.
Mm-hmm.
Look.
I'm all in. I love that guy. I think he might be my new favorite player. If I get a jersey this year, it might be McLaurin.
Okay, so Dynasty, what are you willing to give up for him?
Everything. I only have one Dynasty league that I don't own him in, and yeah, I'm stacked at wide receiver in that league, so I can't really trade for him.
Is that a league you're in with me? Because I think I only have one where I don't own him.
I think I only have one league where I do own him, and that
we're in
wasn't by choice. Just didn't work out.
I think we're in 2 Dynasty leagues together, the LA League and the Sleeper League.
I'm not in the LA one.
Oh, you're not? Okay, so yeah, it must be it's the Sleeper League that we're in together, and I got him in there.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, no, he's legit. He's crazy good separation, good in contested catch situations. He's fast as all hell. Like, he's just fucking good. And
he's doing it with not great quarterback play.
Terrible quarterback play.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in 2 seconds here.
Yeah,
but,
I was gonna say.
Terrible quarterback play. He doesn't have a whole lot of competition for targets, but like he's doing a lot with the targets he's getting. So
Right.
even if the volume goes down, like he's still going to be a productive wide receiver.
Only player in NFL history with 5 catches and a touchdown in his first 3 games. Only
Each of
player.
his first 3, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Impressive.
then moving on, is Haskins starting next week?
I think just because Jake Gruden's stubborn, it'll have to be another piss poor game from Case Keenum.
Okay, so then here becomes the question. We know that Haskins and McLaurin went to the same college, and it was a big thing, like going into the year, that they were going to have great chemistry and all that stuff. Is it possible that somehow he actually gets less volume with Haskins than he does with Keenum, just because I don't know that his volume can get any better in that offense?
You're probably right. I think you are, just because you have a rookie quarterback coming in as opposed to somebody who has played in the league for a while. I mean, Keenum, you've seen him with Minnesota. He wasn't afraid to throw the ball. He's not afraid to throw. Bringing a rookie quarterback, they're very tentative at times.
Yeah, I just like, to me it was always the storyline that like they know each other, they play together, their chemistry is going to be great, he's going to feed them, and it's like, well, he's already being fed. So if you change out the quarterback, I don't know if it can go anywhere but down in terms of volume. Efficiency might get better, even though efficiency is actually okay for him right now.
Right.
But I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. But that's like, we're in agreement that's an inevitable switch, right?
Yeah.
Yes, inevitable.
Yeah. So, Andrew, do you think next week, or do you think it's going to be a couple weeks out still?
That's a good question. I don't know that much about Gruden's philosophy. Like, I think what they're 0-3 now, right? Or did they win? Did they win last week?
I think they're 0-3.
They're 1 or 2 or 0-3, and so, I think it's probably going to be another couple weeks, because they're probably going to, we're still got a chance to the playoffs. Still got to play who we think gives us the best chance to win. But I think if they go, I don't know, 0-5, like, how many teams make the playoffs after going 0-5? It doesn't happen, right? So at that point, you're not developing Case Keenum for the future. They're gonna put Haskins in and
give him some reps.
Exactly. So.
Okay. So you think after week 5, if they're winless, that's when he goes in, not before that?
I mean, it's possible that he goes in before, but I think that's probably the latest.
Okay.
I think if Keenum has another shit week this week, then it's going to be Haskins for week 5.
Okay. All right. Miles Sanders. So rough first 2 weeks. Then week 3 against the Lions, who actually have a decent run defense. He goes out there, he actually runs really well, but fumbles twice, I think twice in 3 plays. They kind of threw Jordan Howard in after that. Coaches are still supporting him, I guess, verbally, but do we think that, like, what are you doing with this situation? Because I think he flashed a lot of really good things last week, but I think he's probably going to be in the doghouse after the couple fumbles, and the fumbles aren't really a fluke. That was always like the one thing to be very concerned about with him coming into the NFL, and he hasn't cleaned it up at all.
Yeah. I don't think I'm worried yet. I think if Jordan Howard came in and he played really well, but he had 11 carries for 37 yards, I mean, he still was Jordan Howard. He was the Jordan Howard of last year, so he's not impressive. So I think you're still going to see what you can get out of Miles Sanders, because he's your more electrifying back. He also was great in the receiving game. He had 73 receiving yards, was it?
Something. Yeah.
And I think it was off 2 catches.
Yeah, they were throwing the ball
one
down.
long one.
2 long ones. I think both of them were long.
He's obviously the better receiver. He's the more electrifying back. I think they keep giving him volume until it becomes more of an issue. I think they're going to give him another shot, but if he puts another one on the ground, then it's going to become more of an issue.
Yeah, he had a 33 and a 40.
Yeah.
I think if Jordan Howard had like this blow up game, then you may see a little bit more of an even share. But I think at this point, if with showing Howard just plodding through, then it's just going to be Miles Sanders again to start.
So let's say in theory next week comes out and they run Jordan Howard into the ground and Miles Sanders only gets maybe 5 carries. Is that a sign? Are you panicking or are you buying?
Buying.
I'm buying as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
I don't think that Peterson's a doghouse coach. I think Peterson's a, give guys another chance. Play your most talented players kind of guy. Like, I think the concept of putting a guy in the doghouse for fumbling is a little bit outdated outside of maybe the Patriots organization.
Yeah, that's just because they just don't take any shit.
And well, there's that, and plus they always have like 7 relevant running backs, so they can afford to put some in the doghouse. It's like,
Damian
yeah,
Harris hasn't even seen the field yet this year.
I know.
yeah, you can bench Sony Michel if he fumbles because like, you're just gonna lock in another stud running back in his place, right? So I don't think Jordan Howard is in the same talent stratosphere as Miles Sanders, so they're gonna give him every opportunity to be successful.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back to finish up with a couple other Dynasty relevant things from Week 3. All right, we're back, and we are going to start it off with a little bit of a sore subject. The Browns still look like fucking garbage, and it's so sad.
Hot
Like,
garbage?
Hot garbage. Just
Steamy piles of
steaming
poo.
hot garbage. It's so bad. And like Baker Mayfield does not look like the same guy they looked like last year or the same guy they looked like in college. Play calling has just been atrocious. That 4th and 9 draw play, what the hell are you doing? That might be the worst play call I've seen in the last 5 years. It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
That was innovation in action. Nobody's ever called a draw on 4th and 9 before, so they never saw it coming.
No,
And
nobody saw it coming.
And that is why it had a chance.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's playing checkers and he's playing Connect 4. So yeah, Freddie Kitchens, I think is going to be.
Freddie's a joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was optimistic about him after how the end of last year went, but it's looking like he's going to be gone by the end of the year. There's too much talent on that team to not be playing well. This doesn't make any sense.
What how is it the O-line? Is it only the O-line? Is that the
Well, they got rid of what's his name? They got rid of, what was it, Andrew Whitworth, was it?
Okay,
that was 2 years ago. It's
not just that. It's like the O-line looks worse. Baker doesn't look comfortable in the pocket at all, which is probably partially a product of the O-line. The route combinations look terrible. The play calling is terrible. Baker doesn't seem to understand what Freddie Kitchens wants him to do out there. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense because Baker hasn't had trouble reading defense before. I don't understand what's going on.
So I was watching the game. I was watching the game. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
All right, I will. No, I was watching the game, right? And Baker plays pretty much every snap in shotgun.
Yep.
Pretty much every snap. I hate watching Nick Chubb run next to the quarterback. I feel like they need to run with Mayfield under center and have Chubb coming from behind him. I feel like him just that weird little shotgun handoff just kills me.
Yeah, shotgun runs are typically not as effective as behind the center. So,
Joey, 2019.
Pardon?
It's 2019.
Yeah, I know. But Chubb's a very talented running back, and I think they need to give more opportunity. I think he's calling you out
for saying Chubb coming from behind.
Oh.
I actually wasn't.
I didn't realize I said it.
More offenses are going shotgun because that's
right.
The level. But
anyway, we're moving on.
No, we're not because I haven't said my piece.
Say your piece.
Todd Monken. Let him call the plays. Todd Monken is an offensive genius. Freddie Kitchens had some flashes last year, but he's not even sniffing Todd Monken level of play calling. Let him take the reins.
Yeah, agreed.
He said
100%.
no. He said he's not doing that.
I know he said no, and it's pride.
Yeah,
pride cometh before the fall.
It's a pretty common theme across the NFL with coaches and GMs and stuff. But let's see, who you got for me, Joey?
Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
He got the start. He played pretty good. He had 6 targets, had 52 yards and a touchdown. He was in there about 80% of the snaps. He was still behind James Washington, but he looked better than James Washington.
Yeah, as he should. He's a better player than James Washington.
Right. So I think moving forward, it's him and Juju's team at the receiver position.
Yeah, so here's the concern that I have. Mason Rudolph didn't look good. The offense didn't really look productive with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. I think the average depth of completion was like 2 yards or something like that, which is just
Right.
disgustingly bad. And they don't have a first round pick. So if Roethlisberger isn't coming back, you're
But
not
he
looking.
said he is.
Okay, but if he's
the-
not,
right.
if he's not, you're not looking at a quarterback in the first round this year, and you get another year of Mason Rudolph. So that's a big
Or Cam Newton.
Or Cam Newton.
I was gonna say that. I really was.
So
Or
I
Case
guess
Keenum.
to me that's a little concerning. But like, I was big on Deontay Johnson before the draft. He's a fantastic route runner. I'm a sucker for that. He's great after the catch. Really like him. I think that he's going to be a prominent part of this offense down the line. And I think that him seeing the field this early as a third round pick, I believe, it's definitely a good sign for him, especially because James Washington doesn't look good and never really has.
Right.
What round was Washington picked in?
Second, I think it was.
Yeah. He played with Mason Rudolph at Oklahoma State, too.
I mean, if it really comes down to it and Roethlisberger retires and Rudolph's trash, I mean, next year you still have the possibility you could try out Ryan Tannehill, who hasn't been horrible. He's better than Rudolph. And you still have the possibility of Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota becoming free agents. Neither of their options.
Marcus Mariota has successfully tanked Adam Humphries.
But at the same time, you bring him to an offense like historically the Titans' offensive line is terrible. They've given up, I think, 16 and a half sacks in 3 games this season.
You're really just going to move on with me not mentioning Corey Davis or A.J. Brown and just going straight to Adam Humphries?
Oh, I could really care less about that. Corey Davis is just gone in my book.
Yeah, I mean, I just want him to sign with a different team. I want Mariota out of there. 100%. I love AJ Brown. I love Corey Davis. I need a new quarterback over there.
Are you excited for when they start Tannehill over Mariota?
I am actually. I'm very excited for that. I want that to happen. Like now,
they need to do something with that offensive line first. That offensive line is horrendous.
Don't even care. Just
they're ranked 31st in pass protection. 31st in the league, second to last in the league in pass protection.
I want to circle back to the Steelers for 1 second.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
And it's not Deontay Johnson. It's Juju. Are you worried about him?
No. Long term or short term?
Both.
Short term, yes. Long term, no.
Okay. So to that point, are you starting Scary Terry over Juju next week?
No.
Okay.
I don't think you can bench Juju. I don't know. We'll give it 2 more weeks of Mason Rudolph, and we'll see where we're at there. I think, but I think it's premature to do anything with Juju there.
Okay.
So we're gonna go rapid fire here. We got 3 backfields to talk about. Just real quick, give your opinions on each of them. We got the Chiefs backfield with Damian Williams potentially still out, McCoy potentially out again, Darrell Williams and Darwin Thompson. Joey, hit me.
I like LaShawn McCoy. He looked pretty good last week.
Anything on Darwin Thompson?
Darwin Thompson? I don't think he did anything last week. It was Darrell Williams, and I mean Darwin Thompson has some potential dynasty outlook with the running backs, but I honestly, with them giving Darrell Williams and LaShawn McCoy the run over him, I mean, I don't see a light there for Darwin Thompson.
Okay, Andrew.
Oh, I can't. I mean, I am excited about Darwin long term. I can't get excited about McCoy. It's like I can't do it. Like he's
short term. Sorry, that answer was short term for McCoy.
I know. No, even short term, I can't get excited about McCoy.
I know.
I like players who are named D. Williams. So give me Darrell in the short term and give me Damian when he comes back.
#analytics. Packers running backs: Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams.
I'm still Aaron Jones. I still am. I think it's going to be a 50-50 split, but they showed last week that it's going to be Aaron Jones at the goal line.
Okay. Andrew?
Does Does Aaron Rodgers have a history of disagreeing with his coaches about which running back should be used?
He has a history of disagreeing with everybody.
Is that something that has happened before? Because I feel like if he likes his guy, he's going to give his guy more opportunities. So I think he still trusts Aaron Jones more, and so I think it's a little bit silly, but
listen, I think it's too early to fall off the train on Aaron Jones. He averaged like 4.8 yards per carry last season in the second half of the season. He's a good back.
I think it's more than that.
I'm worried about the 2020 class. That's what I'm worried about here.
I'm excited for the 2020 class.
Oh, I know. I'm worried about it for the Packers.
For the Packers running back situation. I got you.
Yeah. All right. Final one here. Ronald Jones, Peyton Barber.
You would hope it'd be Ronald Jones after what he showed, but last time he played better than Peyton Barber came in and had 23 carries the next game.
Yes. However, talking Dynasty here.
Yeah, it's Ronald Jones.
With all the Ronald Jones hate that's out there and him showing a little bit of promise, are you willing to buy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
think so.
Just because I don't think he costs much right now.
What would you be willing to pay?
I'd give a third any day.
Yeah, I was gonna say a third.
Okay, he might cost more than a third after last week and having two good games in the first three. Would you give a late second?
No.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, I've never really liked Ronald Jones as a running back, but I'm getting to the point where, like, if he's playing football and he's putting up numbers, I might be willing to touch that. They're also definitely a candidate to have the 2020 class wipe them out.
Right.
And I mean, it's another thing where, like, if the 2020 class they don't draft a running back, it's going to wipe out a lot of other ones. They're going to hit free agency and the Bucs may end up signing somebody else. So,
right.
I mean, I'm close to being willing to buy him at the price he's at, but not quite there. So, all right.
Can we have one bonus topic?
Yeah.
Dawson Knox.
Yeah,
I like Dawson Knox.
That was.
Yeah.
All
right. If we're gonna talk stiff arms, Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah, that was gross too.
Juszczyk, sorry.
That was gross too. But no, he caught the touchdown. He showed the hands, and then he just absolutely destroyed the entire secondary.
2 in a row. 2 in a row.
Run.
No, and then I'm gonna lower my shoulder and put you down.
Yeah, that was a good run. All right,
but Juice threw Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
One hand.
That was rough. That was pretty bad. All right, so this has been the F3 podcast. You can find our written content at dynastyfootballdigest.com and at idpguys.org. You can see all our video content on YouTube at Writer Digest Network. Writer is spelled R-E-I-T-E-R. Once again, I am at Lanny1925 on Twitter. Andrew is not going to have his Twitter handle said on the air. And Joey is at Joey the Tooth IDP. You can find at our websites, you can subscribe for $1 a month. We have tools, rankings, ADP for offense, defense, combined offense and defense. That $1 a month also gets you into our Slack chat with all of our writers and podcasters. We have trade calculators, start sit charts, all of that stuff. Otherwise, all the articles we put out there are free. Joey does a lot of stuff for IDP, and I will be getting back to doing a lot more Dynasty writing pretty soon here. You guys have anything you want to say before the show ends?
Dubs fans,